Today we're at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, and today we're here to
Do this! Yeah!
Today we're at Jefferson Middle School, and I've got Melissa with me. How are you? You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Read for us what we have.
5 parentheses n minus 3 parentheses equals 2n minus 6.
And if we have parentheses, what does that mean?
If we have parentheses, we have to do those first.
Okay. So how do you want to start with this?
So I guess we can just put 5n minus 3 and then just continue with the parentheses and then bring everything else down.
Okay. So what you're doing is you went 5, because you went 5 times n, so
Yes.
you're distributing the 5 to the n. So you get 5 times n, so 5n. And then what?
Minus 3.
Well, if we bring the 5 to the n, we also have to distribute the 5 to the...
3.
So 5 times negative 3 is...
15. Negative 15.
Negative 15. So we'll get rid of that 3 and put a negative 15. There you go. And you can get rid of, because we only need the one symbol in there. All right.
And then we bring everything else down.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now what would you like to do?
I guess we can continue with this. So 5 minus negative 15 would be negative 10n.
Almost, if that was an n. Right? So what we
yeah.
want to do is get all the variables together. And all the numbers on one side, the variables on the other side. So we have a 5n and a 2n.
Yes. So we
Which one is the smaller one?
2n.
So it's usually easier to get rid of that one.
Yes.
So how do we get rid of that one?
So we just subtract 2 minus 6.
Well, we're going to get rid of this,
Oh.
which means we're going to do it on both sides. Okay? So this is a positive 2n. So in order to get rid of a positive 2n, we do the inverse, the opposite. So we'll subtract 2n. But we do it on both sides to keep everything what?
Balance.
Balanced and equal. So we'll subtract 2n here. So go ahead and go through that. Right, and that just cancels out,
Yeah.
right?
So this is just
right.
yeah.
So now bring our equal sign down, and let's bring everything else down. So here we still have a negative 15, and what's on the other side?
6.
Negative 6, right? Just not 6, okay? So we'll get rid of that so it doesn't mess us up at all. So read what we have now.
3n negative 15 equals negative 6.
Right, so 3n minus 15 is equal to negative 6.
Yes.
Do we have all the n's on one side of the equal sign?
No, we're missing an n right here.
Well, we're not going to add an n, but we have it all on one side, right? This
Yeah.
is the only n there is now, okay? So this number we want to put over there.
Yeah.
We want to get rid of this on this side. So how do we get rid of the negative 15?
You subtract it with the positive.
So you're going to add 15 to both sides.
So we do.
So
the,
you can go ahead and put it right under there. So you can put a plus 15 and do that to both sides, right? To keep everything balanced like you said.
Yes.
All right, so now let's draw your line and figure out what we've got.
So right here we just add 15.
That cancels out, right? Negative 15 and 15 becomes 0. So what's left over here?
So the only thing left is 3n.
Okay,
So
and then put our equal sign. And what's left here? Now here you have to watch because we have negative and positive, right?
Yes.
Negative 6 and positive 15. If we combine both of those together, what will we end up with?
a positive.
A positive what?
A positive number. Oh.
Okay. But which number is it? That's the key. It will be positive.
Yeah.
How do you know it's positive?
Because if the number is positive and it's bigger than negative, it cancels to a positive
It's going to be
automatically.
positive, right?
Yes.
So it's basically 15 minus 6.
Yeah. So it'll be 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9.
Okay, so we have 3n is equal to 9.
Yes.
Now, because we want to solve for n, what do we need to do? Because when these two are together, that implies that they're being multiplied.
Yes.
So the opposite of multiplication is,
Division.
so what do you think we're going to divide by?
So 3 divided by 3 is 9.
Well, let's divide each by 3. right? Because whatever you do to one side, you
Yeah.
do to the other. So put a 3 under each of those.
Okay.
So what's 3 divided by 3?
1
So that cancels out.
Yeah.
All right, so we have n.
equals 2, and then an easy way to do that is just by like multiplying what it equals. 3 times y equals 9.
And what is that?
3.
Go ahead and put it down. So we have n is equal to 3, but we want
Yes.
to check and make sure this is correct.
Yes.
All right, so let's put 3 back up here.
Okay.
All right.
So that would be.
And what we'll do is we'll just go like that so
Yeah.
we know we're multiplying those two. All right, so let's do the parentheses first like you said. What's that?
That is 0.
Okay, and 5 times 0 is?
0.
Okay, so this whole thing equals 0.
Yeah. And then so
Bring
that.
out your equal sign.
is
And what's
6.
2 times 3?
6, and then if that equals to -6, it equals, so we bring this down, and if 0 equals to 0,
And does 0 equal 0?
yes.
So it checks. Perfect. So that we know that that one works. Melissa, nicely done.